Hey everybody, Heather from Hooked on Pickin here. Here's my usual Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time live video, and I wanted to talk to you guys mainly about pallet condition. We're going to let a few people get on, so go ahead and comment if you jump on live. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and this is an awesome Q&A for you guys to be able to find out what's the reseller world and just glean from my free advice. So also to my patrons who are on Patreon, if you haven't heard of that before, it's a way that you can support my channel just simply because you can do as little as $5 a month, which is like buy me a coffee, all the way up to higher amounts, and you get exclusivity of things that you are allowed to have. The most recent thing that we just put out was once I hit $100 a month in support from various different people, lots of $5 and $10 people. I was able to, my hubby and I, which is the cameraman, the guy behind the camera, we put out an exclusive video for patrons only about how we got started, how he started the business, handed it over to me. It's about a 20-minute video where we kind of talk about our journey from basically $0 to building this building and making a good income. And so if you're interested in seeing that, all you have to do is become one of my patrons. It will be immediately accessible to you. And so if you would like to do that, just click the link down in the description below, and you can just become a $5 patron and see that video. The one that I've got coming up for $250 of support, which we're almost there, is I'm going to do a behind the scenes exclusive shopping trip only available for my patrons. So I will show you how I pick thrift stores in various other locations, and then I will give you my tips and tricks only for. And so if we hit that $250 mark, then I'll be able to offer that to you as well. And there's a lot of other exclusive content already on there. Usually my patrons know ahead of time what my topic is on my live feeds. I didn't get it out yesterday, but I definitely am asking them, and they have major input when it comes to what do I talk about on my live feed. So if you'd like to have that, go ahead and become one of my patrons for as little as $5 a month. So this one, do we have a question already?
No questions, just people hopping on saying hello. CJ,
okay, perfect.
I think it's Spino says, I'm first. You were. Good job, CJ.
Good job, CJ.
CJ says, thanks for what you do, and God bless.
Awesome.
I think it's Murda. I gave you a smiley face. Mary Beth Riper says, hello, guys.
Also, if you don't want to become a patron, you can just click a donate button right there on the YouTube video and just buy me a coffee today. All right, enough of the business, that aspect. And I wanted to tell you, basically my title for today is going to be, I'm going to talk about various different conditions of pallets that I get, whether they're brand new, uninspected returns, scratched and dent, and salvage. And I'm going to show you some fun examples of something that I've gotten recently that this pallet that I've already unboxed will go out live tomorrow. You'll get to see what was in it. You guys get an exclusive sneak peek since you're on live. Do you have any more comments or
just people? Let's
saying hi.
Kyle Forkmel says, love all your videos. Keep it up.
Awesome.
Mary Beth Riper says, hello, guys. And then she says, my husband loved his gifts I bought from you. It's great. Brian Wiley says, hey, guys. Jennifer Phillips, hello, all.
Awesome.
Betty LM, hi, everyone. And Kathy Hershey, hi.
Awesome. All right. So I wanted to show you something fun. So this pallet that I just unboxed, it's obviously empty now, and I've got a lot of the stuff kind of behind me, but it was a scratched and dent pallet. So you'll definitely want to check that out. It comes out, the video will go live tomorrow noon Central Standard Time. So whatever time zone in, you make the adjustment, but Central Standard Time, I will unbox everything that is in this scratched and dent pallet. I usually get uninspected returns, but I really wanted to get a scratched and dent one, and let me show you why. These are some things that I found, if you want to scan down here, in the scratch and dent palette. And as you know, these things are relatively expensive. I have a Roomba, iRobot Roomba, and then there's also the Shark brand, which is basically an even competitor. The iRobot was first, but the Shark one is just as profitable. These were all used, and so I wanted to make sure that they worked. I actually got 4 of them. One of them doesn't charge at all. And so I wanted to show you guys, this is what is so beneficial about this pallet. Look, they all work.
There they go. Being attacked by robots.
We're being attacked by robots. So I wanted to show you there's definitely profit in a scratched and dent pallet, because each one of these brand new run around $400, but not $250 to $300, sorry. And then, but I can sell them used for about $100 a piece. And so I spent, I think, about $400 on this scratch and dent pallet, and that was just 3 of the items. There were 4 separate items in it. One of them being an air fryer, which I think I'm going to keep myself, because everybody who's eating healthy like I have started eating loves and raves about those things, and so I'm going to keep it. It's brand new, never been used. And so questions.
A couple of questions have come in.
Sure.
Also, I know Heather's going to talk about it a little bit later. Be very careful buying salvage and scratched and
Yeah, be very careful when you buy salvage and scratched and dent. The likelihood that it works is extremely low. I was shocked that all 3 of these worked. They definitely have been used. I looked at the brushes on the bottom. They've been used, but I had a plan for them already in my head. Anything I buy from a scratched and dent pallet will probably never ever end up on Amazon. So if you're an Amazon FBA seller, scratched and dent might not be your wheelhouse, but you never know. I sell primarily on eBay for parts and repair, and you got to know what you're doing as far as selling parts or repair. And then I also sell used, and I test anything that I use. So I sell on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, various different platforms, but I generally don't sell scratch and dent items on Amazon FBA. Also, flea markets are a good place, or garage sales are a good place to flip those items. Yes.
Kyle Forknell says, what do you do with the damaged merchandise?
A lot of it I throw away. Some of it I can donate to people who I think would use it. Like I said with the eBay, the parts or repair, like I've got 3 drones that also came in this bulk case that you can see in the video tomorrow. And I'm going to lot those up and sell them as a giant lot for parts or repair, because there's a lot of people take those things apart and kind of make their own thing out of it. So making sure that you're very unique in the way that you sell it, but being very upfront. Yes.
Picasso Cat Treasure says, how do you handle your sales taxes?
Sales taxes, I am not a tax professional, and you're going to have to check with your specific state, because sales tax is different per each state. And then I definitely just keep track of everything for doing my taxes at the end of the year. But you'll have to check with your tax professional.
Right. There are several ways to handle it, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways, so I don't really want to give one blanket statement, because it depends on where you live.
Right. Brian Wiley, was that box that you opened a scratched and dent?
Yes. All of these vacuum robots that I just showed were in the scratched and dent box, and they all came with charging bases, and they all charged. I charged them overnight, and they work great. I'm actually probably going to keep one just for the office so that it can kind of clean up all the stuff in here that I get from time to time.
Brian, I was able to order that one. I already knew that there were certain things that we could actually use from it. And scratch and dent is different than salvage. Scratch and dent is, they are absolutely saying that the items have either been used, they are scratched, their boxes are dented.
Yep.
There may be even some slight damage on the item, but most of the things can still be used, if you will.
Yeah, scratch and dent generally, just like he said, they're definitely damaged items, but there's a few things, like there was a wooden piece that I have that basically the only reason it was probably in the scratch and dent was there was a swivel latch that just needs to be hammered back on. And so I knew I have the capability of doing stuff like that and fixing up stuff. So if you're handy with things, you may be able to buy a scratch and dent and fix it up, sell it online as refurbished or used and repaired and things like that. So if you're handy with your hands, a scratch and dent pallet might be an option, but don't get discouraged. You may get something that's completely just broken to smithereens and it's not usable at all.
Brian, another way to think about it is if you've ever gone thrifting, if you found those iRobots thrifting and they wanted $12 for them, you would buy them all day long.
Yep.
Even if you didn't think they potentially work, because you could sell them for parts and repair.
Right.
That's how I handle scratched and dent pallets.
Yeah, and in the iRobots and stuff, I knew that just selling the brushes, you could clean up the brushes and the filters and stuff like that. Just selling those items alone, and sometimes the cartridge where all of the dirt and stuff gets collected, you could sell just those pieces alone for profit.
Penny Road says, I'm about to start buying bulk. Do you recommend starting with pallets or cases?
I would recommend start with what you have space for. Like, I obviously have space for pallets, but it takes over my space. Like, this pallet covered, when I unboxed it, it covered this entire table, all of the floor in front of me. So if you've got a small space to work with, go ahead and do cases. Let me show you the size of a case just so that I'm going to come back into the picture, but I've got a case waiting to be unboxed. But I wanted to show you, this is a typical size of a case. And so it's relatively large in size, but I wanted to show you that, that's a typical case size. And you can get quite a few items depending on what you get. So check out the manifest there. I've gotten cases that have had, 150 items in them because they're all smaller items. And then I've got cases that have had 30 items. So you kind of pick and choose, but make sure you pick what you have space for, because you don't want to be climbing over everything. That'll just drive you crazy.
Several more people saying hi that they've hopped on.
Hey, awesome.
Even from Cleveland, Ohio, or an hour away from Cleveland.
I'll show you my, if you're just brand new on, I'll show you my, what I got in my scratch and dent case a little bit later. I'm standing in front of it right now.
Kelly says, I would love to do this, but there is no way a delivery truck can make it down my road. It's a dirt long driveway.
Okay, well, when it comes to ordering liquidation and things like that, UPS, it usually drops off. So if a UPS truck could get down your driveway, then you can get deliveries. Also, see if you can't get it dropped off at a different location. There's a lot of people rent storage lockers and things like that, and they'll have the bulk boxes or the bulk pallets dropped off at a storage locker location. And just, you would have to be there. So,
and Kelly, also, the truck that drops off the pallet is not much bigger than a UPS truck.
Yeah, it's just a straight truck. If you have not seen my, I did a live pallet drop off, and it's probably been about 3 weeks ago that I actually did that, where I filmed it live, where the guy actually backed up into my space. And so go ahead and check that out and see if that's not something that could actually make it up and down your driveway.
Get Yo Hustle On, love the name, by the way.
Yeah.
Says, hi, had my first Poshmark sell last night. Yay.
Hey, go Poshmark. If you've been watching my Poshmark results videos, most of the ones that I've been putting out are 2 days worth of sales. And I'm actually got my little handy dandy planner where I've been tracking my Poshmark sales since I started in May. And so I want to kind of share with you that. So hang on, I'm definitely going to share that with you, but I wanted to talk about the condition of a lot of the pallets first. Yes.
Penny Road says, and should we buy new to begin with until we learn how to handle everything with all the selling sites?
Okay, so what I would suggest in the condition of the boxes, so I'm just going to talk for a little while, go ahead and shoot your questions out there. I'll back up and answer them if I can. So I'm going to kind of go through the conditions and where I feel like they need to be sold. If you buy brand new, it's obviously going to cost more, but you're guaranteed more to get something that's obviously resellable and in perfect condition. That would be what you would want to buy if you're going to sell primarily on the Amazon FBA platform, or flip on eBay and sell new items. So that's kind of, and if you don't want to deal with condition issues or be disappointed in condition issues, go ahead and buy brand new. One thing that I would suggest when buying brand new, check that manifest. Make sure that that Excel spreadsheet that they send with the manifest actually says that it's brand new and there's no damage with it. Because if you get something and it is damaged, you can contact customer service and they'll reimburse you for that one particular item, pictures, information. The more you give, the quicker you get that refund. But if you do like new, that's usually got a little bit more room on the bone as far as money. You're not going to pay as much as brand new, and you have the potential to send a few of those items into Amazon based off condition. You have to be really picky. And then you might be, if you're more of an eBay seller, the like new might be more condition for you, or Posh Facebook Marketplace. And then you've got uninspected returns, which is exactly what it sounds like. They're completely uninspected. I have gotten things that are brand new, box destroyed, but the item is brand new, so I'm able to still sell it. Not necessarily on Amazon, but maybe on eBay or Poshmark or things like that. Like I've gotten shoes recently where the box is just mangled, but the shoes are in perfect condition. You can look at the bottoms. They've never been worn outside at all. And so you get that kind of stuff. Now there's even more room on the bone as far as profitability. but it's a little bit more of a gamble because you legitimately have no idea what kind of condition you're going to get things in. So uninspected is exactly what it sounds like. And then there are Scratched and Dent, which is this pallet, and it's going to be unboxed tomorrow on my channel. And so I'll be able to show you that, and that's varying different degrees. Most everything that was in this pallet was not sellable on Amazon. I could not flip it on Amazon. Either the box was damaged, the item was damaged, things like that. But there are a few things that I'm like, I could definitely sell this on eBay if I fix this or that on the item. So if you work good with your hands, Scratched and Dent is an option for you. And so eBay would be a good platform for that. Poshmark is a good platform because Poshmark, even though it's clothing, a lot of people sell used clothing and things like that. And so you can get actually a Scratched and Dent clothing pallet where maybe it doesn't come with the box or the item doesn't have tags, but it looks, you know, just as new as the shirt I'm wearing. So that's an option. And then the last one is salvage. I've actually gotten some salvage pallets, and that one is more of a, you're going to buy it for the parts only. Unless you're willing to fix up something, like I got about 3 or 4 bread makers in that, and I was able to take pieces from a couple of the bread makers to make the other 2 workable and fixable, like the latches and things like that. And so that's something that if you really do work with your hands, the salvage pallets might be an option. But check the manifest, make sure you know exactly what's in it, because you don't want to buy something that you don't know how to fix. So those are kind of the different things. eBay is a good 4 parts or repair platform. Poshmark is a good used possible platform. Amazon, you're going to want to go primarily new. Questions. Also, if you like this content, you can go ahead and click that donate button and buy me a coffee down in the bottom. There's a little gray money symbol. So, you know, so you can just click that. If you love my content all the time, you can also follow the link below in the bottom and be one of my patrons. I have exclusive content that I offer. I actually just hit my $100 supported by you guys limit, and you can support me for as little as $5 a month. And I actually put out a video with my cameraman where we explain from the beginning, from $0, how we got here. So, you know, check that link below. We got some questions.
Michael, 1980, says, I have a question. I inherited a bunch of old records. In your opinion, what is the best way to go about selling them?
Old records, I would definitely say eBay. eBay is going to be your best platform. eBay is the place that people go to find things they can't find anywhere else. You can check Amazon and see if there's actually a listing on Amazon to sell it, but just be very careful with condition. Make sure you check that record. Make sure there's no scratches on it.
Hey, Michael, 1980, I bought records down at the Goodwill outlet. You can scan the pictures on the Amazon app. I tried to sell them on Amazon. Condition was always an issue. People would get it, they didn't like it. I'd have all kinds of returns. So it's at eBay. I also have heard Etsy may be a good place to sell those. We don't sell on Etsy, but they sell a lot of vintage things. So I would check that out also.
Yeah, check Etsy. Also, if you can't get 1 or 2 to move, try lotting them up. If you can find specific genres of music, like all the classical or all those kinds of things. That's a good idea too. Yes.
Lots of questions, guys. We'll try to speed it up here. Jerry Hopkins says, do you tend to sell cheaper items on Poshmark versus new high-end?
No, actually, I had some low-end stuff that I'm actually cleaning off my Poshmark store and starting to get more high-end stuff, simply because Poshmark is labor-intensive in the sense that you have to share all of your items to keep them at the forefront. Poshmark is not like eBay and Amazon where you list it, leave it, and then it sells. Poshmark, you have to stay active in sharing to your followers. And so I have actually been shifting to some of my lower-end clothing into some higher, just so I get more bang for my buck for the work that I'm putting in. So no, I sell, like, I've sold boots for $40 and coats for $50 and suits and things like that.
I think the highest thing, guys, that we've sold on Poshmark has been about $100.
Yeah.
So, you know,
$100 or less. I mean, I will sell stuff for $10 all day long, and that's kind of my bread and butter. I'm super excited to sell a $40 item, but that's usually about once or twice a week. I sell something in the $20 to $40 range. Most of my bread and butter is the $10 to $15 sale that I get regularly. And if you haven't seen my 2-day Poshmark sales, check those out. I've got another new one coming out on Sunday, but I've got some that have gone recently, and I will talk about Poshmark sales here in a little bit.
Get Yo Hustle On says, doing a video about...
I love that name.
She says, doing a video about selling on .com. That's cool. In the next day or two, have you ever tried them out yet?
No, I have not tried to sell on Walmart.com. No. I bought off Walmart.com.
Kyle Fortnall says, do you always make a profit? And also, can you request no damage when buying a pallet, or is it what it is?
It is what it is. I would definitely check. I buy primarily from bulk. I have bought from other liquidators before, but bulk is my primary one simply because of the manifest. And you buy in the condition that they state. And yes, it has come in worse condition before, but it's also come in better condition than what I had expected. And so it's a little bit of a gamble when you're buying liquidation because you get returns, shelf pulls. You have no idea what the customer did before they returned it to the store. And then there was a second part to that question.
Do you always make a profit?
Do I always make a profit? No, not always. If you watch, I think about 3 weeks ago, I bought a pallet and it was full of Star Wars items. I think I got a stack of them back there where I had thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. And by the time I had received the pallet, the market had dropped. A lot of people had obviously bought some of those. And I thought I was going to make about $15 a piece. I ended up making about $2 a piece. So I ended up not listing them because the size of the box was too much to pay in fees for me on Amazon. And so I just kind of, called it a wash. And I actually did lose money on that pallet. And so not always. I try to be very educated when I buy. Another question.
Christopher West asks, are these pallets sold as is? Is there a percentage of damaged merch that's a given?
You really just have to look at the manifest and check the condition. Generally, when you buy the brand new pallets, almost everything is brand new. I have occasionally found a box or two that you can clearly tell the item's not used, but it's been retaped together, so it's been opened. And so based on the condition of the box, I may not sell it on the Amazon platform. I may sell it on eBay. And I usually kind of fuss about that because if it's brand new, it's supposed to be brand new, like merchant sealed. And so, just pay attention to that. So no, just check the condition that they offer, and then you can kind of go from there on which platforms you're going to sell on.
Angie hopped on from the UK. Great to have you.
Awesome, Angie.
Brian Wiley asks again, is the ordering process from bulk pretty straightforward and simple?
Yes, it's straightforward and simple. They have flat fees for all the shipping, and you pretty much know exactly what you're going to pay, and you can check the manifest before you buy. So that's really nice.
Brian, I've ordered from several different ones. They're the easiest.
They're the easiest and the most forthcoming as far as being able to, they give you UPCs. You can look them up on the platforms, find out how much stuff is going to sell for. Another question?
Yes. Aline Robinson says, hi, do you get Skylanders sheet sets and quilts sets? Can't seem to find them in Australia.
Occasionally I have found Skylander sheet sets when I do retail sourcing. A lot of you see a lot of the liquidation sourcing, but I still do retail sourcing. And so I have occasionally found Skylander sheet sets from like on Walmart's clearance shelf and stuff like that. So if I come across any of the Skylander stuff, even the game pieces, I come across a lot of the game pieces. I will put it out there on one of my videos and let you know.
Jamie asked, I live in Oregon where we don't have a sales tax. Bulk requires a resale certificate in order to buy. How would I get around that if my state doesn't require me to have one? Jamie, I can answer that question for you if I can.
Yeah.
Bulk does not require you to have a resale certificate.
It's based off of what state you live in too. So I don't have a reseller certificate, and I'm able to buy from bulk.
You might be mixing it up. I think was it
liquidation.com.
Yeah, liquidation.com does require a resale, and to be honest with you, that's what we don't normally purchase from them either.
Right.
Okay, Sherry Hawkins, Jamie, anyone can buy from bulk. Thank you, Sherry. And then AB04100 donated $10 to
Woohoo! I'm going to buy lots of coffee and put out way more videos because I'll be hopped up on caffeine. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can click the donate button below. And also, if you want exclusive content, there's a really cool video that my husband and I just recorded because we hit the $100 supported by our patrons limit, where we talk about from zero to this warehouse and how we got here. So check that out in the link below if you want to get exclusive content from me and also have input on what I do for my live videos.
Alex Bell says, I got a liquidation from Bed Bath & Beyond and got 6 new 10-piece comforter sets.
Nice.
How would you recommend I sell and what platform?
Okay, comforter sets are relatively heavy. And so I would recommend if you sold on, you can check the fees on Amazon. You may be able to sell them for a good price on Amazon because they're going to go for a lot more money on Amazon than any other platform. eBay, if you sell them on eBay, weigh it and do calculated shipping. I recommend that. Just because of how heavy it's going to be, because it's going to cost you dramatically more the further away from where you live it ships. And then also Facebook Marketplace would be the other avenue that I would say for sure sell it on that, because that's just they contact you, come and pick it up, and then you're not actually having to pay all those extra fees like you would on the platforms. Yes.
Christopher West says, if an item is new but the packaging is damaged, do you sell it at a discount?
Yes. Yep. I will sell it at a discount. I will call it refurbished or used based on the condition, and make sure that I'm totally upfront with how it is. But I have sold used and refurbished on Amazon. It's not always brand new stuff. Yes.
Alex Bell asks, did you buy from liquidation.com?
No, I don't generally buy from liquidation.com because they require a reseller certificate. Plus, they don't give me enough information on the pallets.
Get yo hustle on.
I love it.
Jamie, I know it's great. I buy from bulk. I have no resale certificate. Thanks for chiming in there too to help with people. Alex Bell says, I got a lot of new clothes, bras and etc. with tags. What platform would you would be best for selling those?
Poshmark, for sure. If you have a Poshmark store and you're good at sharing, sell them on Poshmark. If it has new tags, there's a possibility you can sell it on Amazon. Just be very good about making sure you polybag it, because you don't want to just sell just the clothing article and send it in that way, because it can get dirty in the warehouse. So make sure you put it in a clear or a gray poly bag before you label it. And so I would check Amazon and see if you can, and make sure there's absolutely no damage. But Poshmark would be probably the platform I would choose if I had gotten those.
Hearted Dixie Flipper says, on average, how many items do you sell weekly on eBay and Posh combined? Hearted Dixie, I'll say on eBay it's 5 to 10 items a week.
Yeah, 5 to 10.
Much, but in a little bit we'll show you the Poshmark.
Yeah, eBay is kind of my... If I can't sell it anywhere else, I sell it on eBay, because clothing and accessories I sell really well on Poshmark, and everything that's new and in good condition I can sell on Amazon. And then eBay is kind of like anything that's unique, leftover, things that I'm gated in on Amazon, I sell on eBay, things like that. So if you guys want to see, this is, I told you I would show you this. I showed it once already. But this is something I got out of my scratched and dent pallet. I actually got 4 of these, but 3 of them work. So I'm being taken over by robots. It's my minions. So I'm going to keep one of these and let it clean my warehouse. But I'm super excited about getting these. I ran over my microphone cord. But I'm super excited about getting these. And so scratched and dent, they are all used, but they all work. And so I'm super excited about that. And so I wanted to show you my fun little minions that I got in my most recent scratched and dent palette.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Jamie says, at Get Your Hustle On, I tried to sign up the other night to bulk, and they asked me for a reseller certificate.
Just contact customer service about that. They may, like I said, I don't work for bulk, so I really don't know the steps to take for that. I'm getting ready to take a trip down to one of their warehouses and do an actual video tour for my channel. And I'm definitely going to sit down with them and see if they'll do a Q&A and be able to answer some of those questions. So if you have specific questions, you can go ahead and go to my Patreon page, leave me a message on that, send me an email through my hookedonpickin.com page of anything that you'd like to find out from bulk itself. I'd like to sit down with the lady that I've been talking with and do a Q&A and be able to answer a lot of those questions. See if maybe we can even do a live feed.
Get Your Hustle On, we did not have to do a reseller certificate. So.
Yes, we didn't personally. I live in the state of Illinois, and we didn't have to do a reseller certificate, so I don't know what the different standards are, and I don't know if it's changed since I started ordering initially.
Jamie asks, do you ever sell on Mercari?
No, a lot of people have asked if I sold on Mercari, but with the platforms, I currently do Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, Amazon, and eBay, and that's enough for me to handle right now. I have had a lot of people ask me about that, and I've heard that that's been really good for a lot of people, but I have not personally sold on Mercari.
Denise says, you're looking great, and I love that you really look at all the angles of reselling.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I did recently lose about 38 pounds, and so if you want to contact me about that, I'd be glad to talk to you about that too. But just stopped eating so much.
Kyle Fortnell says, thank you. Have a super great day. Thank you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thanks. He probably had to jump off.
Let's see. Nadine says, thank you for your amazing content. My question is, do you list the same items on multiple sites? If not, how do you decide what to list on Poshmark and what to list on eBay?
Okay, Poshmark is clothing and accessories only. So you can sell jewelry and shoes and clothing items for all the different avenues. eBay is, if you want to sell your belly button lint, you can sell your belly button lint. You can sell anything you want on eBay. eBay is ridiculous.
Gross,
yeah, that would be really gross. But so I don't know why I thought of that. The things that go on in my brain, who knows? And then Amazon, primarily I sell what is actually already listed on the platform because you don't take a picture, you use a stock photo. And so that's how I decide. I would say Amazon is my number one choice if it's in really good condition because that's just a beast of a platform. You can't really compete with the customer traffic there. And then I would go for clothing, Poshmark, and then anything else on eBay. So yes.
Let's see. Dom G says, today is BOGO, Starbucks, Grande, and larger drinks after 3 p.m.
Awesome. My husband's taking me out. Oh, by the way, happy Valentine's Day. My husband is taking me out. He's actually going to take me shopping for new clothes. What an awesome hubby. Isn't that awesome? If you want to see how awesome he is, we have an exclusive video on my Patreon page, and so you can check that out too. But he's actually taking me shopping, and so we'll have to get one because we're going to be out after 3.
Jane CS asks, have you ever used OfferUp to sell locally?
I have not done OfferUp. I've done Craigslist before. Craigslist drives me a little bit crazy because once you put your listing on there, even when you do unlist it, you still get phone calls for the item. And so I have learned with Craigslist that you can go in and edit your item and just write sold after the title. And that way you stop getting phone calls about it. But for about 3 months, I got calls for an item that I had sold literally in 2 days of listing it. So just make sure you do that because another question.
Let's see here. Another question. If you do this full time, what is the estimated monthly income?
It varies. And it's definitely going to be dramatically different for me this year simply because I'm working in this space and I'm able to, you can ask my husband, probably 4 times the amount of time into the business since we built this building in comparison to what I did last year. And so it really is based on how much work you put into it. I do this for a full-time income now. Before it was kind of like, initially, when we first started, if you watch the video on Patreon, we were kind of a $5,000 a year because we just wanted extra spending cash, pay for our vacation. And now we've hit full-time income status for me. And so now we legitimately live on 2 full-time incomes. And so I don't want to give solid numbers because it really is based on what you decide to sell and on what platforms you decide to sell. But it is a full-time income. I legitimately am paying a good chunk of the bills, and we're putting, money away for various different things like, vacations and help pay for vehicles and building new buildings.
I know we've teased it several times, but we'll show you at least our Poshmark journey. And
and then about 5 minutes, we'll go over all my Poshmark numbers from when I started in May.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up on the questions.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of the first name. To everyone watching, don't forget to like the videos as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like and then hit the notification, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and then, like I said, if you want to buy me a coffee today while we're live, go for it.
Robin says, thank you for helping me get the courage to sell and do it right, still learning.
Awesome. Yeah, I try to be very honest. I mean, I've kind of gone through my pitfalls and I give real numbers, especially if you watch my Poshmark sales. I mean, there's been legitimate times where I've sold something and lost money. And then there's times where I literally have made 5 cents on an item, but hey, it gets it out of my Poshmark store and now I don't have to share that one.
Very good. Everyone's loving your crazy graphics on your shirt. I think the video is doing that.
Oh, it's just stripes. Sorry, I won't wear this one on a live feed again. It might be the lag that I have in my Wi-Fi or something, but it's just pink and gray stripes.
Do not look directly into the shirt.
You'll be mesmerized.
Sherry Hopkins says, what do you think about the growing number of people trying to sell hard goods on Poshmark?
Poshmark is primarily a clothing and accessories platform. Hard goods, you definitely have to list it under the other category. And the traction I think that they're going to get is going to be pretty low, simply because when you're searching for something, usually you filter for those things. Like if I'm looking for a women's shirt, I'm going to filter for that, and you can't really do that on hard goods. So I think, it's not going to sell as quickly as they like. They're probably going to have better luck on eBay. So, I mean, I can't really control what other people do.
And also, I don't think Poshmark wants you to.
No, Poshmark doesn't want you to, so they can actually boot your listing. So I would suggest not doing that.
Donald Newman says hello. A few others say hello.
Awesome.
It's great having you guys
Awesome.
on. Sheldon Latmer asks, when are you planning on doing an electronic pallet? Well, here's the deal, Sheldon, with that. It scares me to death.
Yeah, electronics are not my forte. I don't know a lot about fixing electronics. And so I can do like brand new.
Sheldon, I just talked with a man at our church that is very tech savvy, and he knows who he is. Who knows? He might even be watching. But
his wife is watching. I know that. His wife always watches.
I am looking for a pallet that has several tablets in it, and then we're probably going to try to buy that. No matter what condition, to see if he can't fix them and help me unlock codes and all that fun stuff. So, but we just got to find the right time for that.
Yep.
But that's what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, he's super awesome, and he's amazing, and his wife is an awesome person who watches a lot of my live feeds.
Jane CS just donated $10.
Awesome. Thanks for the coffee, Jane, and thanks for the Valentine's gift.
She just asked this question: where do you sell low-end clothes like Kmart and Target quality clothes?
I sell them on Poshmark. The fees for Poshmark are not too bad. You usually spend about 20% on the fees. And so literally if you sell something for $5 on Poshmark, you can make about $2, a little over $2 with selling those things. So yeah, I sell them on Poshmark. That's a great place.
The man that I was talking about, or his wife, says, yep, he is. So that is awesome that he's watching. Very good. Bethany P, we know Bethany, says, Paul off camera is like the voice in the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, he is the man behind the curtain.
This is the highlight
so
of my
shout
day
out
right
to
here.
Bethany. Shout out to Ash. So they're some of my biggest fans.
Another question here. If you buy brand new stuff with the tag on it, do you leave the price on it, or do you take it out?
I leave the price tag on it because generally if it's like a clothing article, I put that retail price on the Poshmark so they know initially it was $30 and now I'm selling it for $25 or $20. And I have no problem selling it for the exact same price because it may be an exclusive item that they can't find anymore. So yeah, I have no problem.
Clearance tags,
we always take clearance tags off.
People get offended for whatever reason when they buy something for more than what the clearance tag
Yeah,
are.
if you send something that says it's supposed to be clearance for $5 and they spent $15 for it, wouldn't you be irritated?
Yeah.
So yes, I always remove clearance tags.
Slightly annoyed by that.
Okay.
Jamie asked, how many hours a day do you devote to your business?
I work a full-time hours. So I will work anywhere from 8 to 10 hours some days. And then some days, if I've got a lot of family stuff going on, I'll work 5 or 6. So it's my business. I'm the boss. So I get to kind of set my hours. But always for sure, at least 40, sometimes more.
Yesterday, in the middle of the day, she went and watched a show, though.
I did. Yesterday, there was nobody in the house, and I knew I didn't have a lot to do because I really, hustled the previous week. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit in the quiet with my coffee and watch an hour-long show, and I did because I can. So there.
Brian asked, do you use a mannequin for your Posh picks?
Yeah, actually, I can't get, let me see if I can get it out. I have a mannequin here. I bought it for $30. And there's plastic ones in the background. And then this is the one I use primarily for some of my items. And then I have white tablecloth that I use as a backdrop. And then if you look back in the background there, I've got a male and a female mannequin. Those are about $20 a piece that you can buy just right offline. I think I bought it from Amazon. And so, yeah, I always use a mannequin. It looks better unless, of course, the item doesn't fit on a mannequin.
Dorothy Stillman asked, have you ever spent big money on a pallet and lost out, not made any money?
Yes, we have. I have spent there's a recent pallet that I bought that it was about $700, and I think I'm only at about $300 of making money on that, and it doesn't look like I'm going to go much higher. So yeah, it's happened before. I try to be as educated as possible, but yeah, it's happened.
You'll see one about 3 weeks ago on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I bought a pallet for, I think it was around $500 that time, and I definitely wasn't going to make my money back on it.
What is your ideal haul of products?
My ideal haul of products, anything that makes money. I would say my last pallet that I sent a lot of Amazon stuff in was a household pallet, and that was awesome because it contained a lot of like faucets and, you know, things like for home improvement. I bought this chandelier, unfortunately it was broken. It's really cool looking. I should just put it on camera, right? Let me show you. I'm going to put it on camera. Okay. All right. So I just unplugged. Tell me if you have volume, hopefully. Anyway, it's too far away. I'm plugged in. So, but it's one of the chandeliers. It's round, and the glass was broken. So can you still hear me, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me about volume-wise.
Yes, they can.
Okay, great. Sorry.
A couple more questions, then we'll get into the Posh numbers.
Yep.
Says, let's see. Did Roombas come with boxes and chargers?
Yes, all the Roombas came with boxes and all the chargers, and some of them even came with extra accessories like filters and extra brushes. Yeah. So yes.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah, it was the Roombas and the sharks.
If you get a shoes with no box, is it more cheaper than shoes with a good box?
Usually the box shoes generally sell better. If you watch my Poshmark sales, you'll see the difference in that I make money-wise. You'll see a lot of the boxed shoes are generally I'm making about $20 or $30 on Poshmark, and the unboxed shoes I'm making more like $5 to $10. So, all right, I'm going to go over some of the Poshmark numbers. He'll try to field the questions as we see. May 2018 is when we started Poshmark, and I'll just kind of give you a rundown. That week, obviously, when you're on Poshmark, you gain followers. It's a little bit like YouTube in that sense, where you gain followers and then you share to your followers. And so the more people that are following your closet, which is basically your Poshmark store, then the more people see your items. So first week, May 2018, we sold a total of 6 items, and we made $35.70 on average. Each item we made about $5.95. So that's the first week. So if you're just starting your Poshmark store, that's kind of what you can expect. That's actual earnings. That's after the fees and after all the shipping. So I made $35.70 and sold 6 items on Poshmark the first week. As we go down, the second week I sold 11 items for $99. This is how I tracked it. So you can kind of see, it's basically a calendar, and it shows how many sales I had that particular day and then how much I earned. So we had 6 items, 11 items, 13 items, 12 items, 28 items. So this is as we're gaining more followers. And if you look, I've got little numbers down here. Here's when we finally hit 25,000, 2,000 followers, 25,000 followers, 3,000 followers.
2,500 followers.
Sorry, 2,500. You're right. 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, and that's my Poshmark followers. Okay, not YouTube, but Poshmark followers. And then as we get into June, here, I want to show you this. So when we did June, we were on vacation and out of cell phone range, okay? Which means we didn't do any sharing. So as you can see, when we're on vacation, we didn't share. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So Poshmark is definitely a platform you have to stay engaged on. But and some people are frustrated by that. But let me show you why I continue to sell on Poshmark. So June, we're at 13, 14, 4. 4 was the week we were on vacation. 18 items. Now I'm going to jump ahead to, let's get into 2000. Let's go December. November, December. All right, so December, which is when we got a lot of Christmas items and things like that. The very first week of December, 49 items. So this is, we're over 10,000 followers on Poshmark. 49 items is what we sold there for $293.08. Average sale per item was around $6. Okay, so 49 items, 46 items in December, 49 items, 47 items. So as you can see, it's starting to go up, and we've got $293 for the week, $383 for the week, $389 for the week, $239. Now you think, okay, it's after Christmas, we're not making as much money. Wrong-o. Here's January. Okay, so this is last month. 51 items for $450 that week. How many of you make $450 that week? That's a relatively good income. 56 items for $297. 35 items for $256. 36 items for $491. 70 items for $494 that week. And then let me my last week completed week, which was February 3rd through the 9th. I sold 70 items for a total of $552.80. And I want to show you something different on this week because my numbers are much higher. On average, I made $747 per item. So as you can see, I'm trying to drop off some of those lower end clothing. I started at the I didn't have a lot to invest in. And so that gives you an idea of where I'm at as far as sales on Poshmark. Anytime you see my sales numbers for my what sold on Poshmark, it's only 2 days worth of sales. And I know this upcoming week is definitely going to be probably even higher than the 552 that I made last week, simply because my numbers are already higher. I'm dumping off some of the low end numbers and I'm able to share more of the expensive items I've got on my Poshmark store. So we have some questions.
Poshmark guy seems to be a good platform to sell, of course, clothing and accessories on. And if you're a retired person, if you're needing a supplemental income.
Yeah, let me kind of go back and talk about that. So initially,
go to the monthly.
Oh, yes. Okay, so, you may be a person that doesn't want to do this full time, or you've got another job, or you're on a fixed income like Paul was talking about, and you're like, you know what, I just need a couple of extra dollars a month to pay for this or that item. So let me show you, let me find the monthly one.
While she's hunting that out, I think it's a good opportunity for people because eBay, you put an item on there, you have to pay for the item, the listing fee. Posh does not do that. It's pretty straightforward on the fees. They do take about 20%, which is more than eBay, but their shipping is so much better. You're not having to worry about
weighing it and all that stuff.
Weighing it and all that other stuff.
Also, to give you an idea about how much work goes into each amount, I would say for about every 25 items that I sell, it takes me about an hour to find the items in my inventory system, which probably won't take you that long, but I've got around 750 items listed. And so sometimes it's to my detriment because I've got too many items, which is why I've started getting rid of some of the lower end items. But it takes about an hour to find 25 items. It takes me about an hour to actually print labels, box it, and then set it outside my door and package. So we're looking at 2 hours per every 25 items. And then I would say it takes about 2 hours to list those 25 items on the Poshmark. So for every 25 items, I would recommend 4 hours worth of work, okay, with the actual shipping and all of that kind of like listing, packaging, shipping, all of that. So 4 hours worth of work for every 25 items that you do. And so here's the monthly breakdown that I have. These are my numbers, my actual numbers. This is from the beginning. And so let's say you just need an additional $100 a month. That's what we initially started off at. And you're not going to stay there if you keep feeding the beast and keep sharing.
That's 117 a week.
Oh, sorry, 117 a week. Ignore these two columns.
If you look at that,
monthly,
she sold 70 items and made $585.
Yep.
So when you think about that, might not be that much. It might,
but that could be a rent bill for you. That could be all your utilities. Like $396 could be all your utilities. So if you're just looking to get about, an additional $300 to $600 a month, Poshmark would be a good way to go. And you can kind of see the difference in how many sales I had. 70 sales the first month, 49, 65, all the way to 248 items I sold in January. And then average per week, if you're kind of a weekly liver, this is kind of where we're at for averages per week. I don't know if you'd mind making $397 every week just from selling clothing on Poshmark. And of course that depends on what clothing you're selling and in what condition it's in and what kind of clothing. And these are just sales numbers. It does not take into consideration how much I paid for the product, right? No. Does that take into consideration? Yeah. It does take into consideration. I took off all my money for the product. I was trying to remember.
Right.
I had a brain fart, sorry. So if you need that extra couple $100 a month, Poshmark might be the way to go. You know, just do your best.
I think if you were really smart about how you did it, you could turn it into a full-time income. Like the last month you saw, she made almost $2,000 that month. If you could do that, you know, there's a potential you'd have to go a little higher because $2,000 a month is $24,000 in a year. Not exactly a wage that you would consider
living on. But if you're a
wage,
two-income family, an additional $2,000 in your household every month is definitely beneficial. So here's some questions.
Some questions here. Holly says, can you cross-post an item on eBay, Facebook Marketplace?
Yes, I cross-post a lot of things on eBay, Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace all together. But the biggest thing with that is keep track of your item, because especially on eBay, if you sell something on Poshmark and don't delist it on eBay, then you're going to end up getting, you know, restricted on your eBay. Also, speaking of eBay, when you initially start an eBay store, they restrict you to only listing 10 items. Poshmark has no listing limitations. And so like I said, I've got about 750 items listed, and I don't pay a dime on those items until they sell. And so that's one benefit to Poshmark, is that you're not paying any fees unless the item actually sells. So the things that are low end that I'm delisting, I'm not losing money out on because I didn't pay anything to put them on there anyway, other than time.
Plus, if you start eBay today, you are restricted to sell 10 items.
If you started a new store on eBay, it's 10 items, and then you have to work your way up into being able to sell more quantity and more dollar amount.
Ross doesn't have that. Jason asks, do you ever use direct liquidations?
No, I've never used direct liquidation. Sorry about that.
I think William is asking, sorry, William, if I didn't get to your question, I might not have.
Yeah, if we've gone past, like if you've done a comment and we haven't answered it, go ahead and repost it so that we can get to it.
Would, but he is saying that he and his wife are going to start doing this. So
awesome.
Good luck with you, William. Hopefully it'll go well for you.
I think a husband and wife combo work really well, because on the days that I'm really discouraged and don't want to do my work, and yes, I get that way. A lot of people think, oh, she just does awesome. No, yeah. I have days where he has to be like, all right, what are we doing today? You know, and help encourage me. So
Denise, you are right though. She says, Heather, you are so inspiring and so informative. Love your videos.
Awesome. Yeah.
Jamie asks, can you ship your Poshmark in sealed shipping bags?
You can. I generally use priority mail boxes like this. This is my normal standard size that I use. It's not a flat rate. It just says mailing box on it. I'll use this size, and then I'll use this size a lot. So as you can see, I've gotten really good. I'm like the Domino's pizza box guy. I can, you know, put these together relatively quickly. So these are the two sizes I use primarily, and you can get these for free. You just go onto USPS.com and then you can order these ones. This one, let me see, this one is called the 1097 box, and then this one is called the, I don't know, 1096 box. So 1096 and 1097. The biggie is you can't mail in a flat rate box. So no medium, large, small flat rate boxes. And USPS, you just order like 25 of them. They ship them for free to your door.
Lots of questions. Sorry, guys.
Sure, go ahead.
Brian says, how long does it take you to prep and ship your Posh stuff?
When I list the item, I generally put it in a poly bag. And so it's already prepped. And when I put it in a clear poly bag, I usually have the label showing and the size and all that stuff. So when I go to find it, I know exactly that that's the. And then all I do as far as listing, I would say, like I said, I kind of gave numbers before. For each 25 items, usually takes about 2 hours to list 25 items, 1 hour to find my item, 1 hour to actually put in box and ship and set up the pickup. So I'd say 25 items, 4 hours worth of time average. So hopefully that helps you out. But I usually polybag everything. You can kind of see behind me, I've got all these drawers, and I believe I can reach. So this is how I keep a lot of my product. Here's one that was in the orange one. That's how I have it labeled. And it's in a poly bag. I know that it's this brand, this size, and it's a sweater. And so that's kind of how I keep it. So then when I go it, I can either put it in this box or go ahead and put it in this box when it sells. So it makes it very easy to sell it and also keep it clean in my warehouse.
Very good.
So
Denise asks, do you primarily use PayPal for your sales?
So I use PayPal on eBay. I use PayPal on my hookedonpickin.com website, which I've got a lot of fun things. Also, for those of you who want help with reselling, you can also set up a consultation phone call with me. I love doing that so I can talk specifically to your needs. So I use PayPal for those two sites, and then Poshmark has its own kind of payment set up, and so we basically just get money put into our Poshmark account, and then we transfer money out of it whenever we get enough built up to actually pay ourselves. So that's how they do it.
Dorothy Stillman says, trying to educate myself more. Thank you for this live question and answer.
No problem. No problem.
Brian said, how much work did January involve? Well, it was the 200 and about 250 items. So that would have been what? 4 hours for every 25 items.
Yeah.
So somebody do the math for me.
All right. So 250 items on January.
Yep.
I think I sold more than 250 on January.
I believe it was 248.
Yeah, I sold 248 items. For every 25 items, I'd say 4 hours worth of work. So,
sorry, we lost you guys for a second.
Sorry, it blipped out for a minute. So we were talking about, they asked January how much work we were putting in. We sold 248 items. I'm going to ask you guys to do the math for me. Hopefully you can help me out. 248 items for every 25 items. It's about 4 hours worth of work. 2 hours for every 25 items I list you'd like, and also when would be the best time to do a live feed for you guys. So if you're watching this after this live feed, please put that down. I'm thinking about doing a couple maybe evening ones, some morning ones, and then do I track it? Yeah, yes, I do. I track everything.
It's good to always do that.
Yep, that way you know you're making money for sure. You have to track it.
John G said he wants to buy your Roombas. Email address to buy your Roombas.
Yeah, go ahead and shoot me a message. I think I'm going to keep a couple of them for sure, but send me a message at hookedonpickin.com. Anytime you ever see anything on a video that you're interested in, you can go to hookedonpickin.com and shoot me a message and an offer. I can shoot you an invoice. Also, if you like the content that I got going on, go ahead and click the donate button. You can buy me a coffee on Valentine's Day. And also Patreon is another way that you can support me on a regular basis and get exclusive content. So you can become one of my patrons.
David asked, do you do yard sales with your bulk items?
Yes, I do yard sales with anything that I cannot sell. I also, last week, my live video, I don't know if you saw it, it was a fire sale. Everything must go. I sold a lot of things that I just didn't really want to list on other platforms, and I sold them direct to you guys, and then I don't have to pay all those platform fees. So if you want to buy something direct, go ahead and let me know. Like I said, hookedonpickin.com, click the contact me, go ahead and send me an email of your address, your name, what you would like to buy, and what you're willing to pay for it, and I'll calculate the shipping for you, shoot you back an invoice.
Several more questions about taxes. Guys,
sure.
Check your tax professional.
Yeah, I'm not a tax professional. Just track all of your expenses would be my one advice. Track all your expenses. You can even do subscription fees, utility fees, phone fees, stuff like that. Just track everything.
The better records you keep, the better it is at tax time.
The more you can take off on your deductions, but make sure you have documentation. You don't want to get audited and not have documentation. So, yes.
Okay, we've hit about an hour, so I'll try to finish up questions,
sure.
and we'll hop off, guys. Jason says, sorry, but why don't you use direct liquidation? Profit margin looks awesome.
We've never heard of it before, and so might have to investigate direct liquidation.
There's all kinds out there.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
Do you always buy items from bulk.com?
Yes, that's my primary liquidator, simply because I can buy things educated, so I know primarily what I'm getting.
Where can I buy poly bags?
Poly bags I buy off of eBay and Amazon. I just go whichever's cheaper. The typical size I buy are 9x12s. That clear one you saw was a 9x12, and then I buy the 11x14 for larger kind of sweaters.
How does the return work?
Poshmark returns are handled completely by Poshmark. If you have to do a return, then Poshmark usually handles that, and then they decide whether or not they just simply give the customer the money back, they give you the money, or they make them return the item.
Denise, your question or your comment there is perfect. There's all kinds of different ways you guys can think through your inventory and sorting and shelving. She says, I work retail for online orders. We use a shelving system, all labeled and put in the location when the item is shelved. That will radically cut your time finding. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was. I don't have the most organized inventory system, mainly because I didn't have 750 items initially when I moved into this building, and I'm trying to pare down to maybe get more around 500 or 600 items at a time on my store, which will definitely help.
AB04100 says, I would like to set up a consultation for selling on Poshmark.
Awesome. So go ahead and just set up the consultation at hookedonpickin.com, and there's various different time frames, and I'll shoot you an email and we'll set up a time.
It's Jen again, says, I just sold my first item on Amazon, merchant fulfilled. I have been doing eBay for years now. Would you have a certain category that you would suggest ordering from a case from bulk to start FBA?
The only thing that I say requirement-wise as far as ordering from bulk is buy things that don't break. Simply because you're going to have them shipped to you, then you're going to have to ship them to a customer or into Amazon. So anyway, thank you guys for jumping online. I'm glad that we were able to answer a lot of questions. If you want to support me on my Patreon page, you get a lot of exclusive content. I'm shooting for my $250 a month goal so that I can put out exclusive content to my patrons only. And so that would give you exclusive behind the scenes shopping and how I shop specific stores. And so I'm going to make that video and have it ready for you guys whenever we reach that goal. And then I already have my $100 goal where me and my hubby, the man behind the camera, actually sit in front of the camera and talk about how we started from zero and went all the way up. So all you have to do, you can start as low as $5 to become a patron. You can check out all the exclusive content you get for each tier level that you decide to support for. But thank you so much for jumping online. I love all the questions, and hopefully this has been informative. And remember, in the end, Jesus wins.